Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. Welcome to the last of my 2022 State of the Collections videos. Tonight we're going to be looking at my primary collection. So let's see what watches are in this box as of the end of last year. Let us begin. So here is the watch box. I actually got this box for my brother way back before I was a watch nerd, when all I owned was a couple mall Citizen watches, and it now houses my primary collection. So we're going to work from the top left down to the bottom right corner. Let's dive in. The first watch we'll be looking at is the Nomos Orion, and this is the most expensive watch that I own currently, which is why it is in my primary watch box. But I think I'm going to change that because I don't wear it a whole lot, and I feel like that's what should be determining what's in this box. Or maybe I shouldn't even have a primary watch collection at all. Or maybe I shouldn't even have a primary watch collection at all. Maybe I should just put my pieces in boxes without any rhyme or reason. Who knows? But this piece is absolutely brilliant. I've had it for a few years now, and even though I don't wear it a ton, I love it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Look at that case back. And I love how it isn't big and bulky like a lot of contemporary watches. It has a lot of vintage sensibilities to it. It's definitely more of a dress watch than a Bauhaus watch. Look at those lugs. They are kind of long, and that's off-putting for a lot of people, but I don't mind it personally. They're drilled, which is nice. Just look at how thin it is. And the slight curve to that crystal is really great. And just look at the execution of that dial. This is a very stunning watch. Next up, we have the Stowa Antea, which is another brilliant watch. Very well known and loved. And a super Bauhausy piece. The blued hands on there are just amazing. See if I can get them in the light at all. A little bit there. The silver of this dial is really cool because it kind of changes tone depending on the lighting and whatnot. Sometimes it looks kind of cream, other times, like right now, pretty white. Sadly, I've never really worn this watch, and I've contemplated selling it a few times. I'm just kind of nervous that at some point I might really be in the mood to wear this watch, so it's kind of lurking in the watch box. It is a very cool design, I just don't ever really wear it. And look at this, I've totally covered up the case back. Let's fix that. Look at that. That is gorgeous. The decoration and the blue screws are really beautiful on this movement. Since I rarely wear this watch, let's see what it looks like on the wrist. And here is the Stowa Antea on my 7-inch wrist. This is a 36mm watch, and as you can see, it wears much larger than that. It looks like it's a completely contemporary size. I feel like it wears like a 40mm. It does look amazing though. And I actually like it on this strap. Yeah, it looks great. I bought this watch shortly after getting the Nomos. I was on a big Bauhaus kick and had just gotten rid of the Xeno Bauhaus winder, so I was looking to replace that with something. This and the Nomos were the choices. Next up is the Max Bill. I got this one quite a while after I had my other two Bauhaus watches, and every time I saw Max Bill watches, I just loved them and had to get one. And this watch is so brilliant. Just look at that crystal. So amazing. This is actually the sapphire crystal. With this particular piece, you can pay to have them put in a sapphire crystal or just ship it with the acrylic one. At the time that I bought this, I didn't really have a whole lot of watches with acrylic crystals, and this one was by far the most expensive that I would have had with the acrylic, so I was kind of nervous. You know, for that price, I didn't want to be concerned about scratches on the crystal, so I opted to go for the sapphire, and it looks great. The anti-reflective coating gives it kind of an inky blue, hue to it that shows up here and there. The case back is solid. I have it on this great lizard strap that has kind of an extreme taper to it. I feel like with this watch, straight straps or barely tapered ones kind of overpower the watch head itself because it is small. It's definitely vintage size, so sometimes the straps will just look really fat on it. This one I think looks perfect. And just look at that dial. Those loomed indices have kind of a creepy, almost ghostly color to them because of it, and just look amazing. This watch is absolutely gorgeous. This is one of the few watches that you can buy that is contemporary, but absolutely vintage style. The proportions and everything are just authentically vintage. Next up is the Olympos Mystery Dial, and this watch is just awesome. I wasn't sure what I would think about it in person. I mean, it's such a cool design, I had to get one. And I love mystery dials, but when I saw it in person, I fell in love with it. Look at that case shape with the crazy almost hooks there, and it makes it look even thinner the way they have it designed. The crystal on here is just a low domed box crystal, but it looks great. And the dial kind of has a Polerouter-y feel to it, which I absolutely love. As you all probably know, if you've seen any of my videos, I am totally obsessed with this kind of aesthetic here. And this is an interesting piece because somebody actually ruined the mystery dial by putting text on it. So this is an extra rare piece. Treasure shop. And look at that dial. It's in decent shape. The hands are in great shape as well. Some old loom in there. This crown is not fun to work. So yeah, trying to wind it is not fun because it's tucked in there like that and you can barely get at it. But it's fine. This watch is just amazing. And let's see what it looks like when it's on the wrist. Yes, look at that. The mystery dial on my 7-inch wrist. Look at how it hugs the wrist. That case design is absolutely brilliant. And as you can see from your perspective looking down at your own wrist, it almost looks like a tonneau cased watch. Very interesting. It looks great on the shell Cordovan strap. I love these watches. If I can track down a black dial variant, I'm absolutely gonna buy it. Because the band around the edge is still silver, so it's even more Polerouter-y. Sweet. And speaking of Polerouters, we have my Polerouter. My wife bought this for me for Christmas and my birthday last year. And look at the crystal on this particular piece. The case is in excellent shape. The dial looks brand new, so it's probably been redialed. But honestly, I was after a Polerouter that was like buying one brand new way back in the day. So I don't mind at all. I think it's amazing looking. This is absolutely my favorite watch. Everything about it is just perfect. I have it on this amazing Veblenist strap. The straps they make are so cool. Yes, I absolutely love the Polerouter. Just look at that dial. I love me some crosshairs. Oh, absolutely amazing. And next we have the Spaceview. This watch is so fun. I wanted to get one for quite a while, but it wasn't until I had owned a couple vintage watches that I was really ready for it. And the crazy thing is, so as you may know, these movements are tuning fork movements, so they hum instead of ticking. And I had no idea that humming is really more like an insect sound. It's a really high-pitched, almost squeal, and you can really hear it when you're in a quiet room, which apparently way back in the day was the problem with this movement, and people really didn't care for that sound. Look at that crystal. It's just huge. It's kind of a thick little watch, but looks amazing. Sadly, I've never had this on a decent strap. I didn't realize that these lugs are pretty much 17 millimeter. I thought they were 18 because sometimes you can get an 18 millimeter strap to fit in there. So at some point this year, I think I'm going to get a really nice strap for this watch. I think it deserves it. Right now it's on a super inexpensive strap that I pulled off of another watch. Setting the time isn't super fun. You have to flip out this thing here, which is kind of difficult to get a grip on. You have to really get your fingernail in there. And as you're setting the time, it loves to like snap back down. But fortunately, you only really have to do that when the battery dies, or if you're in an area that adheres to daylight savings, at which point you'll be switching it a couple times a year. But yeah, the Spaceview is just awesome. The only dive watch that I own is the Serica 5303, and I've had the crown fixed. I lucked out there and bought this late enough to where there was a less of a hacky fix and more of a permanent fix for that, but not so late that they aren't doing that. My understanding is they no longer cover that fix. I hope that's incorrect, but yeah. That is the only problem with this watch. Other than that, I find it absolutely brilliant. I love the end links on the strap here so much that I've never even taken this off of this watch, and I'm not sure that I ever will. I love the bezel, how it's GMT and a timer bezel. The hour hand took a little while to grow on me. At first I was like not really into it. I generally don't care for those triangle hands like that. However, after owning this watch for a while, I kind of like them. So when I see those on Omegas and stuff, they don't bother me. They're kind of cool looking. And one thing that you don't know about these watches until you own one and see it in action is when it's dark, the lume on these indices makes a crazy diamond shape. In the light, it just looks kind of round, but it's a total diamond. It's pretty crazy. First time I saw it was pretty wild. But yeah, it's not super thick. The crystal's amazing. This is just a gorgeous dive watch. Now, it's not terribly minimal though. At some point I may be getting a more minimal dive watch, but I'll be keeping this one as well, so I'll have two of them. And we have the Smith's PRS 29A. I love this watch. It is utilitarian and yet it looks gorgeous. It's all brushed. I bought this one used on eBay just because they're so difficult to get from Time Factors, and this one was in like new condition, so perfect. As you can see, I have it kind of dressed up here. It looks great on a leather strap. It's the kind of field watch that you could kind of dress up a little bit, and that crystal is crazy. It's like frosted around the edge on the bottom there. Gives it a very unique look to it. Yeah, you just can't mess with the PRS 29A. Let's see what this watch looks like on your wrist. And here it is on my 7-inch wrist. I need to do a bit of micro adjusting, swap out that buckle for one that's a bit shorter. It's kind of in between, so it's a little bit loose, but it looks awesome on that leather strap. Yeah, the 29A is brilliant. Next up, we have my brand new DolceVita. I've been wearing this watch ever since I bought it. The size is perfect. Having sub-seconds there instead of a date is absolutely perfect. I have a strap coming for it that's going to be amazing, but it is handmade, so I have to wait for it to be done. I'll have to do a video showing that off once it arrives, but it looks great on this alligator embossed strap. These are just gorgeous watches, and if you've never seen one in person, you have to, and you have to check out that crystal, because that is so crazy looking. Yeah, these are just perfect tank style watches. And you kind of have size options. This one here is considered a ladies watch, even though it fits pretty well. It doesn't look small to me. It looks like about the right size. However, you can get the automatic men's variant. It looks just like this, but has a date window and a center seconds, and the case is larger and a little bit thicker. Options. I currently have the Tissot in my primary watch collection box, just because with this bracelet it feels so much more secure than my Smith's Everest, which has the old clasp on it. And I absolutely love the toolless micro adjustment. That is a must. I feel like all bracelets should have that. So amazing. And I do like this watch, not quite as much as the Everest. I like the vintage aesthetics of the old Explorers, and the indices on this, I think, are the larger ones that were on the larger Explorers, but I could be wrong. But yeah, this is a great homage. It's really solid feeling, and it really does capture the magic of the Explorer aesthetic. Next up, we have the Juvenia watch, which was a gift to the channel from JP Davis. Thank you so much, sir. This watch is absolutely gorgeous. So Bauhaus style. Look at how thin it is. I love the crystal on there. Yeah, this watch is great. And I've taken it on at least one vacation already, so it's got some memories in it. Let's see what this watch looks like on the wrist. Look at that. That is the Juvenia on my 7-inch wrist. That is such a great looking watch. And it's in excellent condition too. Awesome. Last up, we have my gold Wittnauer watch. At the time that I bought this, I was looking for a gold watch because I really don't have any other than the Reader's Digest watch. And when I spotted this one on eBay, I had to get it. It has kind of a constellation look to the dial. But yeah, pretty much everything about this watch is perfect. I love Dauphine hands, the markers are great, I love those tiny little minutes markers in there, and the dots are such a great aesthetic. The case design is interesting, and this piece is gold filled, so it's a higher quality of plating of gold, so that's pretty cool. And there's no areas on this watch where it's kind of wearing off at all. I have this on another Veblenist strap. This one is kind of a brownish color, very dark, and really complements the gold. This watch looks so great with summer shirts, like Hawaiian shirts and whatnot. Absolutely gorgeous watch. So there you have it, my primary watch collection as of the end of 2022. I suspect there's going to be a whole lot of changes. I'm going to be rearranging my boxes, kind of organize them by which watches I wear the most, as opposed to price or prestige. Thanks for watching.